Here we are. Hi. Oh my gosh, I feel very proud of myself today because usually someone on my team does this whole entire setup for me. And today, because it's the weekend and my team is away, I did my whole setup on my own, including streaming from Zoom into our Facebook group. So I'm very proud of myself. You can all give me a virtual pat on the back today. Okay. How's the audio? Can everybody hear? You can hear okay? Obviously, you can see because I can see in the Facebook group. I'm feeling vibes. All right. I'm excited. Say hi to me. I'm pumped. All right. I can see comments already. Dana says, good job. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling ready for day number 2. I'm curious. How was day 1 for you? The topic of opulence, the codes accessed via opulence, the wealth consciousness that you have the option to tap in through opulence. Is anyone slightly more convinced than they were before day 1 that perhaps some indulgence is in order? Is anyone slightly curious what would happen in their world if they started putting themselves into rooms and conversations with more opulence? Yes. It's a different game. On day 1, I just wanted to just crack the book open for you. I wanted to reveal to you that the path to, our brand is very close to $3 million lifetime. We did $1 million in sales in just about 13 months, which is wild to me. And that happened when I stopped budgeting, when I stopped deferring my desires, when I tapped into a balance of energetics, when I said yes to opulence and trusted the outcome, when I stopped buying the thing that I felt was within my budget and I began to look for what felt opulent, when I began to let myself experience the reward of my work. Now, I actually gave a warning on day 1 because this conversation is a little bit more high level. This is not my average masterclass. And I wouldn't say any of my masterclasses are average, but I do offer free content every single month in this group because my own journey to multi 7 figures and a 7-figure year, it began by listening to a ton of free content. And even today, I listen to free content speckled with content from paid mentors that I have, and it all matters. I show up to the free content as if I had paid thousands of dollars for it, and I treasure it that way, and I treat it that way, and I honor it that way, and I listen to it that way. And so I know that if I exist and I existed on a plane where free content was all that I could do, and today I still tap into free content, I am certain that there are other women out there, hundreds, if not thousands, who are very similar to me, and they will love and treasure and work off of free content as if it was $1 million advice. And a lot of those people end up working with me on a paid basis later. And I love it all. And so I create free content because I believe in equitable pricing. And I believe that people can start anywhere and become something legendary. So you'll find that inside of this group in the guide section, there's so many free masterclasses. We just actually celebrated a year of free masterclasses. There's a masterclass every month. Sometimes there's 2. And all of my previous masterclasses were made from the place of I love working with beginners. I love I love the journey. I'm okay with people who are starting at the beginning of their consultancy, their coaching brand, their entrepreneurship. They're just learning how to sell in the online space. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the beginner. But this particular conversation, if taken out of context, it's not for a beginner. This is the start of a different tier for me of wanting to speak to women that are about that 7-figure life. Yesterday, I launched something that is a year of conversations that's 7-figure level. A bunch of you joined overnight, which is so exciting. But I decided that I want to unleash this side of me as well as working with people who are at the beginning of their journey. But I want to just say this conversation, yesterday's, today's, and tomorrow's, because tomorrow we're going to be talking wealth accumulation. This is not for someone who is like playing. This is not for someone who is committed to budgeting the Dave Ramsey way. I mean, not to call him out, but I'm calling him out. This is not for someone who is committed to it being hard. This is not for the person who has a trauma bond with making things hard and having to push themselves to the edge of their fears in order to make something happen. This is not for you. If you're committed to doing that for the rest of your life, this isn't for you. But if you are committed to becoming rich, if you watch day one and you're like, no, I feel a connection to wealth. I know that I was actually magnetized into this conversation. I was called in. This is supposed to be for me. I want to understand wealth energetics. I'm ready to let go of the old way. I'm ready to shore up what's messed up. I'm ready to let go of the wonky beliefs of mine. And I'm ready to have big girl conversations of the 7-figure level. Then this is for you. So I just want to give the warning one more time. If you are very, activated in a negative way and you want someone to blame your life on, or if you want to take context or advice out of context and then have someone to blame, like, this isn't the place for you. This is a grown-ass woman conversation. But if you're willing to be activated, and you're willing to see that underneath every activation, every place where you get jealous of someone who's ahead of you, or you ask, how come this hasn't happened for me yet? Or if you see people having great success on the internet and you're like, I'm just as good as her. Why isn't this happening for me? I want that too. And you feel the activation rising. If you're willing to see that as the fact that you are on the frequency of wealth and this is meant for you, then stay. But today should be revealing for you. Day one, we talked about opulence, what I call wealth consciousness. The fact that for me, I love to place myself in opulent environments because I know that there is a frequency emanating from objects, ideas, spaces, and places. There are literally wealth codes within experiences. There are reasons why the top wealth trainers in the world will tell you to go and eat at the fanciest restaurant that you can afford to sit in. Has anyone ever heard that before? Tell me in the comments if you've ever heard that piece of advice. The greatest wealth coaches alive today will tell you to go have coffee in the most expensive place you can find. Has anyone done this yet? When you are someone who is dead serious, you are on the journey of creating massive wealth. The top coaches and the top wealth mentors will tell you to go and put yourself into experiences because there's a wealth code and there's wealth consciousness available there for you to calibrate up to. And if you don't do these things and by chance you get wealthy, you're not part of a certain conversation if you've never had these experiences. So what my husband and my family just did this past week was we went and we had Opulence Week. We had this twice this year, and the first one was kind of like, yeah, because it wasn't opulent enough. I want to talk about that tomorrow with wealth accumulation. Have you ever done something that you were like, oh yeah, this is a big deal, but then it's like not even opulent enough? There's not even a calibration available for you. You get there and you're like, no, this is not the vibe. This is not it. And you realize I actually have to spend more to calibrate higher. We went to a place where I am certain the room that I was sitting in had held multi-million and billion-dollar conversations. I was certain I could feel the energy in the walls. There is a wealth calibration available. This happens with objects as well. When you purchase opulent things for yourself as like tokens in your home, the items hold a frequency. There's opulence there. And for me, I intentionally do things in my world today that create opulence so that I wake up to opulence. The opulence fuels my drive to create more opulence, which pays me to have more opulence. As I experience more opulence, I am more driven to experience more opulence. It's a loop for me. But today I want to actually talk about the energetics of wealth, because a lot of people will never get to what I'm describing. There's like a hack available. I don't love that word, but it's like a cheat code. And what I want to say here is that there's a reason why it's the 1%. I recently looked it up earlier this year. I wanted to know, how much money do you have to make in the United States to be part of the 1%? How much do you think it is? Some of you probably have heard me talk about this. What do you think in the United States in 2022? What's the 1%? I found out that the 1% makes $550,000. If you're part of the 1% in the United States in 2022, it's $550,000, maybe 540. Like, that's it. When you hear that, it's not that much, right? And if I'm triggering you by saying it's not that much, this is a sign. Because in any other place in the world, any other conversation, for the most part, if you said $550,000, that's not that much money. Most people would be like, you entitled, privileged human. How rude of you to say such a thing. But within the context of the online sales space, the mentorship space, the coaching space, consultancy, people who have the lady balls to strike out on their own and decide to make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times more working for themselves and sharing their brilliance as a consultant, versus working for a job that's guaranteed and has a 401k and all the things. It's like, Within this realm, that's not a lot of money. So to be part of the 1% in the United States is only 500 something thousand dollars. That's it. Which for me creates this different opulence drive that says, like, I want to be part of like the 0.001%, if that's all it is. Like, there's more. Like, my drive for net worth is like 50 million ground floor. Like, and I know I'll have it because I know I'm called to it. And again, listen, like, my human design is I'm a 5-1 manifesting generator. 5-1s are guides and activators. I'm a walking trigger for people because I'm meant to show people what's possible. I'm meant to say the things like, it only makes sense for me to have a $50 million net worth. For the things that I desire, that only makes sense. It doesn't make sense to aim for anything less. Like, that's my ground floor. And that might be really expensive for someone to hear. And maybe it gives you something else to think towards, like, oh, well, I don't need that much, but I'll take 5 million. I'll take that, right? But the majority of the population, 99%, never even make it to a 500,000. And I have all types of theories on why that is. But the more that I study wealth, and I'm obsessed with studying money and wealth, the more that I realize that people are fighting over the energetics of wealth, and no one is right. And people have very interesting connections to how they feel about money, and a lot of it has to do with their childhoods. So unless you do the work of emotions and energetics, this will become a mystery for you that you never solve. And that's why it's the 99 versus the 1. The way that you feel about money is directly connected to how you grew up. And you, as an adult, a grown woman, get to recode things. It's only up to you, and no one can do it for you. So yesterday I shared my wealth coding that I received as a little kid, okay? And I think it's important that I share that because my first ever wealth mentor was a bank executive that showed me masculine and feminine energetics balanced. And it gave me the most incredible work ethic. I know. And I used to say things like, I can work my team under the table like 10 times. I used to be very proud of things like that, but I don't feel like that's a badge of honor. I think it's an illustration of how I grew up. And if that can be programmed into me as a child, it can be programmed into adults. The ability to create opulence is something that you can program in. But I shared that to show the balance in energetics because I want to deep dive about this today. I have the back end of the year is all energetics for me as far as what I'm doing with my clients. It's energetics to the moon. It's Rev Chill. It's iconic. But like today, I want to give you a preview of that. I want to help you understand your own coding around money. Because if you can balance the masculine and the feminine and decide that neither one of them has to be right, but instead you just want wealth energetics. You don't just want masculine energetics. You don't want to operate in all feminine energetics. You actually just want wealth energetics. This is the freaking conversation. So if you're interested in understanding which camp you sit in, because just being aware of it can be incredibly healing. comment, show me. And we are going to go deep. So the first thing that I witness, especially in the sales space, the online coaching space, the mentorship space, right, is that there's two camps. The one camp is the masculine energetics camp. And this camp is typically, I would associate them with being the generators in human design, or the manifesting generators that are coded for masculine energy. But when I think about these people, I think of like Gary Vaynerchuk. Does anyone know who Gary V is? His older content was very masculine energy. It was a lot of like, just grind it out, focus for 2 years, be willing to live in somebody's basement for 10 years, run someone else's company and don't ask for a reward. Be willing to like take an L. I love him. 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 I vibe with him. I get that. But that is the masculine energy paradigm. It's the like, work your face off, do the hard things, be willing to sacrifice, be willing to eat dirt for a year. That's a masculine energy paradigm. A lot of the like bro marketers of the world, you can kind of associate them with masculine energy paradigm, because it's about like, how many leads can you get? It's all about the metrics. How many calls can you make? How many closes did you get? What's the conversion ratio? Running ads. Has anyone ever gotten into someone's sales funnel that's in this masculine energy paradigm that's all about systems and structures, right? And like, once they get your phone number and they think that you've got money, they call you every fucking day, or they message you until you set an appointment with them. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of women who teach this too. So some are on the systems and structure side of things. My first business coach was full on masculine energy. And it was like 5 years of, being very, very much called to the carpet about like showing up with your results. And if you have no results, you have nothing to say, and just be quiet. Unless you have results, you can't be part of the conversation. Just sit and listen and then go create results. And when you have results, then you're important. It's a lot of proving energy. There's a reason why they call it like the dick measuring club. It's because it's a lot of proving energy to show who you are, what you have. It's a lot of show off energy. Yeah, it's a lot of push, 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 push. And if you think about sex, like the masculine energy is the like push, 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 push. Right? Masculine energy, it's a lot of drive, it's a lot of force, it's a lot of showing off, getting the results. Okay. So the thing that I see happening with children, and this is why I wanted to bring this to light yesterday, is that there's children whose parents pushed. And this is the part where you get to do the work and you get to self-examine. There are people whose parents pushed, and the parent wanted performance. And like in my family, my stepdad for sure wanted to see results. He wanted performance. And so he would come out into the yard with us from a very young age, and he would demonstrate, here's how you line these things up, and here's how you scrape the things, and here's how we were doing like manual labor. Like, and we could have paid any amount of people to do this work, but he was teaching us something. Here's how you lay the bricks. Here's how you landscape. Here's how you detail the furniture. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And he would show us in the masculine how to do the work. And then he would lean back and watch and observe. And then he would come in and he would refine the process, and he would show us our errors, and he would show us the mistake. He didn't let us get away with half-assed. He didn't treat us like children. There wasn't space to be a little kid on those days. How many of you grew up with something like this? A parent, a role model, a teacher, a coach, someone who called the greatness out of you and didn't treat you like a child. How many of you were given responsibilities that are not made for a child? Because some of you have an unhealthy bond, and like a trauma bond with work and performance, because you were given tasks that are not meant for a child, and you were asked to do incredibly challenging things and given roles and responsibilities that weren't meant for a kid. And instead of receiving opulence at the end, you got nothing for it, or little to nothing for it. Maybe a thank you. Maybe you get food. You get a roof over your head. This is what is expected of you. Okay. So those of us who experienced hard work, an exacting mentor, or great expectations, high expectations on us as kids, we have an association today with money and work. Okay, so just take this concept and just tuck it in the back of your head, because I'm going to switch contexts. What I see as the result of that today is I see people who have a zero work ethic. I'm going to step on a couple toes here, so just dance with me. I notice a generation of people whose parents put too much responsibility on them with no reward, and they don't have longevity or sustainability in their work. They start things and they give up. They start a diet, they give up. They start a project in their house, they give up. They start a business, they give up. They want to be a coach, they give up. They join a program, they don't finish it. They get a certification, they do nothing with it. Start and quit, start and quit. Because deep in their heart, they fucking resent working. But they know that when they were younger, they were presented with these insane obstacles ahead of them, and they could do it if they really had to. And so there's a connection, a neural synapse. There's a connection between, like, okay, I know I can do really incredibly hard things because I've done it before. And really the only way to motivate me is to give me something really freaking hard. But then you get in it and you quit. You're like, I hate things being hard. It's always hard. You get in your head and then you spiral. It's done. So the parents who asked so much of the children, unknowingly just thinking, oh, I'm teaching my kid work ethic, teaching my kid how to do hard things. They may have accidentally coded you to hate working. There's another new breed now that women have equal rights, which is wonderful. So wonderful. Dana said, have you been living in my head? Raven says, thank you for calling me out. I need to change. Yeah, let's go, because there's healing here. I don't want to call you out and hurt you. I want to call you out and help you. There's healing available. Okay, so now that there's equal rights for women and a lot of women in the workforce, there's also a new breed of kids whose parents worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked without the opulence. It was just, no, mom and dad are working. We're working. And then they would come home and shut the door in the kids' faces and say, I need to relax and unwind. We're just going to turn on the TV. Some of you are doing this right now to your kids. And you're coding the children to hate work. But I'm not of the mindset that you shouldn't work. I think you should work. I think work is the key to opulence. Good old-fashioned hard work, which means different things to different people. Honestly, sometimes writing some copy or making a video is hard work. I don't mean go do manual labor. I mean just be open and energetically available, that sometimes things are hard. Right? Haley brought up a good point. She said, or there's the parents that worked and spent all the money and had nothing to show for it. So the children, all they knew was, my parents work all the time and there's no opulence. What's the point? So there's been a culture created of people who hate work. So I shared my childhood story to show you that we were taught incredible work ethic. I don't think there's anything wrong with a wonderful work ethic. I'm very proud to have the work ethic that I have. But what was modeled for me as a little kid is, at the end of the workday, there's tremendous reward. We don't go from masculine energy to masculine energy. It doesn't go from work, push, strive, stay in it, focus, perform, get better, refine. And then the clock strikes 5 and you go from masculine to stay in your masculine. I'm going to teach this so deeply and iconic, but one of the functions of masculine energy is actually just reason and intelligence and ritual and routine. So masculine energy is not bad. There's divine masculine and there's wounded masculine. I'm going to teach really deep on that this year in Iconic and in Rev Chill. But masculine energy isn't bad. It's what built America. But if you go from hard work all day long to just going to just neutral, boring ritual, turn the TV on, nothing fun, just go read a book. And there's never this heightened feeling of reward, celebration, fun, like just the reward of a job well done. If you never experience that, you will resent work. What is the point? What is the point of putting in that much effort if it's not something that you enjoy in the outcome? What is the point? And this is why I think a lot of women quit their businesses, relationships, projects, weight loss, workouts, fitness, house improvement projects, things that they want to do with their kids, personal goals. They quit because they're like, what's the point? All I do is work. This is pointless. So the masculine energy paradigm, it's a ton of work. Proving, pushing, sometimes forcing, diligence, perfectionism, refining, doing hard things. It's a lot of that. Staying focused. That's masculine energy. And it's a beautiful energy. but there has to be a landing place. There has to be a time when there's a reward. And my personal observance of the masculine energy paradigm is that people can go really, really, really hard in the paint for so long, and then they burn out. I've personally witnessed a couple of my mentors do this, making $3-4 million months, and then they just quit everything and blame it on, oh, I just felt like I wanted more time with my family. And I'm like, you could have had all of that. You could have had the $3 million months and the $4 million months and the time with your family, but you were so in the masculine paradigm, which is work and grind and get ahead so that someday you can enjoy it. I will add to this, the masculine paradigm is also very heavy in the debt elimination program world. The debt elimination program world is buckle down, tough it out, cut the fat, cut the budget, spend no extra money on things that you really enjoy, work really hard. And when you are complete with paying off all the debt and the debt is clear, then you can do something nice for yourself. Then and only then. And there's a couple people in the world that say like, oh, once a week, take $20 and go do something nice. Well, what the fuck can you buy that's opulent for $20? Please explain. Where's the staying power? If you've got $100,000 in debt or a mortgage or a car, or any other 2022 expenses that people normally have, and someone tells you you've got to struggle and white knuckle it and tough it out, nose to the grindstone, be super focused in your job and your work, and spend no extra money until this is all cleared up. And then when it's done, you can go on vacation. You're not going to even enjoy your vacation. It's going to be such a deficit, a soul deficit, that by the time that you get to the vacation, you're going to be too tired to even enjoy it. You're going to be like, oh, well, I got my debt cleared, but let's see, you're balding, you're fat, your hair is falling out, you ate beans and rice for 2 years, you are in a health crisis, and now you're on this vacation where you can't even wear a freaking bikini because you've killed yourself to do this thing. You've destroyed your body to do this thing. Your relationships suck to do this thing. Right? Raven said, it's like, yeah, just die for a few years. And when you come back up to life, you'll be debt free. It doesn't make sense. So the good thing that I will say about the masculine energy paradigm is that tapping into masculine energetics when they are the divine masculine, you can have anything you want in the world. Masculine energetics can be beautiful. Did you know that generosity is a masculine energetic of the divine persuasion? Creativity actually borderlines on masculine as well. There's so many good parts of the masculine, the divine masculine. It's something that if you can learn to tap into it, literally you can build anything. You can be, do, have anything you want. But most people are operating in the lower version of masculine energy, which is striving, pushing, forcing, depriving. If you're live, type depriving. Depriving yourself is a wounded masculine energy. Proving yourself is also a wounded masculine energy. It comes from this philosophy that if you work hard, one day you can have a prize. And if you can prove that you're good enough, one day you can have a prize. Woo. Does anyone else resonate with that? Do you find yourself depriving yourself of something and saying, one day when I'm worthy enough, when I'm good enough, when I've done enough, then I'll be good enough for the friendship, the relationship, the house, the car, the conversation, the trip. One day when I'm good enough, one day when I've proven it, one day when I've earned it all, I can have that. But for now, I'm certain that I'm not enough. And so if I prove myself and I work really hard, I will be seen, noticed, loved, worthy. A lot of the men who are in their wounded masculine, they grew up with someone who made them feel about this tall. And so for the rest of their life, they're trying to work enough to be good enough to show the world that they were always worth it. If you're a parent and you can see yourself doing this, I hope it brings massive awareness, the power that you hold and how you train your kids. So on the other hand, there's the feminine energetics movement. I have a huge curiosity about the feminine energetics movement, and I've tapped more and more and added more and more of it to who I am because I grew up leaning towards masculine. And my growing up, I mean, like beyond my formative years, but like my teen years and early 20s, nothing was passed to me. We had a hard financial reset when my parents got divorced, my mom and my stepdad, when I was like 13 or 14. And I spent my entire teenage and early adulthood knowing deeply in my heart what it felt like to have opulence. And also knowing that I was going to have to be the one to create it in my world because no one could give it to me. And I knew what hard work was, and I knew what being diligent was, and I knew that there was a financial reward for diligence. And the financial reward could buy me opulence. This was hardwired into me. Diligence brings opulence. Can you please write that in the comments? Diligence brings opulence. But because of the financial reset, there was a lot of lack and a lot of, my mom was also a solo parent for my teenage years. And there wasn't a place for me to be afraid. There was no one that I could say, like, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I need help. Like, lovingly, nobody cared. And so I self-rescued. I fixed it. And it pushed me into becoming a fixer for about the next 15, 16 years. That's wounded masculine. A fixer is wounded masculine. When you are in a trauma bond around money to fixing, approval, proving, work addiction, you will attract voices that affirm you. Remember frequency? Yesterday I said, you really attract the things that you're on the frequency of. Well, I was on the frequency of wounded masculine. And so, of course, I found voices that were very loud in my world that taught me just deprive yourself, do a debt elimination diet, live, on the bare bones, sell your favorite things, sell your furniture, sell your precious belongings, sell everything until you can wipe out all your debt. And then when you've done that, you can have something nice. And I did that for about 5 years until it's like the lights popped on for me. Thank God. And it started landing for me that I was like, this is not how I grew up. like I had a really good model growing up. This doesn't sit well with me. This level of like suffering until doesn't sit with me. This level of like extreme work and no pleasure, it doesn't sit with me. This level of like not being able to tell anyone that I'm scared, it doesn't sit with me. This level of like taking myself into extreme fear, extreme poverty, extreme diets, extreme this, like I don't like it actually. I realized that I had a trauma connection with going to the extreme. I was like, I don't want to do that. I didn't grow up like this. This wasn't the model for me. I didn't live in a piece of shit house and work nonstop. Like we lived in a great house and we worked well. Both. I had the masculine energetics and the feminine. So let's talk about the feminine. Okay. Feminine energy is like the receiving energy as I hold my $100 bill in my hand. So when you think about sex, you've got like the masculine energy, push, drive, force. Okay. And then the receiving energy is just receiving that. You're the receiver. If you think about sex, the woman is sometimes leaned back, just receiving. She's not doing the doing always. Like there's an availability to lean back and just receive. Receiving energy, like the feminine energetics. If you come into Iconic, I'm going to teach really deeply on this about the fact that when you're in your feminine, there's things like ecstasy, bliss, gratitude, love. In the real life, it's like it's fun, it's excitement, it's happiness, it's laughter, it's opulence, having nice things. Beauty is a feminine energy. Having a beautiful house, having opulence around you, that's feminine energetics. If you're fully in your masculine, you could live on a concrete floor and eat beans and rice and corn. And be like, just tough it out. But a woman in her feminine is never going to buy that. For a period of time when we were building our brands, we lived in very extreme conditions. We lived in our friend's basement even. I cooked on a hot plate for 2 years. I did very extreme masculine energy corner cutting. And the whole time I was like, something about this is very, very wrong. It's getting the result, but like I'm very unhappy. And I think if I go back, I think I was really killing myself. I had heart palpitations before I would fall asleep at night. I had headaches all the time. I lived on espresso. It was very like masculine energy, drive, do the thing, you know? And then when the work was done, it was like going from boring to boring. What is there to do? Oh, turn on the TV. Go get a $20 manicure. Like, where is the opulence? My North Star, my true north, my first wealth mentor had showed me that there's balance. That if you're going to ask yourself to do hard things, there better be a big fucking reward. In your life, you're made to do challenging things. And there's more reward than just checking the box and saying that I did the challenging thing. There's got to be opulence. For you as a woman to stay committed to long-term projects and long-term wealth accumulation, there's got to be more to it than the masculine energy work and checking the box and saying I did the thing. There's got to be an experience. The energetics of joy, excitement, fun, beauty, laughter, celebration, bliss, connectedness to God. It's got to be fun. And what I'm seeing in the online space, which this really matters that we talk about, is the fact that there's many women who started out in masculine energetics. Okay, follow me. There are so many women who were taught to hustle and grind it out, and they've built incredible things through diligence. But when they realized that the diligence was taken too far and they were too far into the masculine, they had already built the thing. They had already built the following. They built the sales funnel. They had built the audience. And after they built the thing, they started telling people to lean into their feminine energetics. And there's a responsibility here that if you're going to teach people feminine energetics and leaning back and receiving and manifestation and following your bliss, you'd better freaking disclose how you got the following, the money, the brand, and the business. Because I would say 99% of the women that I see in the online space who are preaching feminine energetics right now got successful not through feminine energetics. And that is messy. You need both sides of the coin. You need both sides of the story. So what I'm seeing right now, and I'm witnessing, and I've seen a lot of people come to their downfall doing this, is that now there's the feminine energetics movement, and it's all about alignment. It's a cute word that to me means a lot of different things. There's coaches that hide behind this word alignment, and they say, post when you're in alignment. Work when you're in alignment. With all due respect, if you're on a diet and you only diet on the days that you're in alignment, it's going to take you a long fucking time to get to where you're going. And money works the same. I don't work on just the days when I'm in alignment. I don't post content or be a mom only on the days that it feels in alignment. I don't lean back on my bed all day long and say, I make millions from this bed, and I'm just going to lean back here and scratch my head and think about what I'd like to manifest, and I will watch money fall from my ceiling. It doesn't work like that. Diligence brings opulence. The masculine allows the feminine. The feminine allows the masculine. Masculine energy is receiving. I know a lot of people who are in deep receiving energy, and it starts when they're little kids. It starts with being a little kid and having a very nurturing parent that does hear you when you're scared. You say, like, I can't do this, and I'm having a tough time. Help me. Or you cry because you don't have the thing that you want, and your parent goes, it's okay, I'll get it for you. And a parent who's afraid of putting a child through crying because they're learning. My parents heard me cry while I did dishes as a little kid. My parents had my brother and I do the dishes every night. We had opulent meals, extreme opulence, gourmet meals constantly. And we did the dishes. I hated the dishes. I would cry. Wipe my tears with $100 bills while I stood in our rich house with our rich food crying because I had to do a dish. But there's parents who don't want to walk with their children as a mentor and watch them do challenging things. They'd rather rescue the child from the challenge because they don't want the child to cry. I saw a lot of this growing up in my family, not from my parents, but other people in my family. I watched the little girls cry and their mothers jump in and rescue and say, "Not my baby." And these children have no work ethic as adults. They were hardwired to say, "I'm scared, this hurts, I'm in pain, I need," and their parents are still rescuing them. And also as adults, they're still doing this with other people. They marry someone for money instead of being self-made because I can't do it. Someone rescue me. They find a man, they find friends, they find parents, they find money, they find people through receiving energy. But it's a wounded receiving. The wounded feminine is looking for someone to rescue them and fix it. So you have the masculine fixers, and then you have, that's a wounded masculine. Then you have the wounded feminine that's like, "Help me, save me, fix me. I can't hold the energy of crying. I'm afraid. Someone rescue me. Someone help me. Someone nurture me. Someone love me. Someone hold me. Someone help me." And both are a little freaking toxic. But there's a deep divine feminine as well. And to me, the divine feminine has to do with opulence, love, experiences, creating memories, the arts, having amazing experiences with my family, reward. That's beautiful, Sheena. Also, a healed feminine energy is available to ask when they want something, is available to take up space and be celebrated and taken care of. I had a whole experience with that going to Mackinac Island this past week because when I worked there, I was deep into my masculine and I was being groomed to be in the hospitality industry, which is essentially like working with extreme diligence and always anticipating people's needs before they ask for anything. So I was, okay, like in the hotel industry, especially the spa industry, the food industry, it's like when you work in the top tier, people shouldn't have to ask for anything. At the most elite level of hospitality, people should never have to ask for anything. It should be offered to them. And you are supposed to read people and anticipate their needs so that they don't have to ask for things. Now, that could be an extremely divine masculine person who knows how to do that because it's generosity. But how I was trained, like I was doing it for a paycheck. And so I was actually groomed to fix things for people by working in the hotel industry, which is a very cock blocking industry as well, because you are groomed to be in elite environments, anticipate people's needs, be uber responsive, and act like you are unhuman. You can't drink anything in front of a client. Don't drink a water. Do not chew gum. Do not slouch. You stand up straight. Do not fold your arms. You wear a specific outfit, and everything is about other people. It's like when you're on the clock, you are this pristine robot and nothing about you is human. You are like Superwoman. So the elite hotel industry standard is that. It's like, you're not even human. You're super alien. I don't know what you are. So working in the resort industry, that's how I even got introduced to the Grand Hotel. I worked there for 3 years when I was 18, 19, 20, almost 21 years old. and I kept my nose super clean. I was like, I didn't party. I didn't do much of anything fun. My funnest thing that I did was go out in nature. And to go back and visit from the standpoint of enjoying opulence was one of the most telling things I've done in my entire adult existence. Because I was allowed to take up space. I walked in not as the one anticipating needs. I was the one receiving while other people anticipated my needs. There was healing available for me by saying yes to the opulence. I witnessed this with my clients at my last retreat because we do very high level retreats when it's, gourmet, healthy food. Like you don't have to ask for anything, high level environments, opulent environments. And women who have had an experience of being really far into their masculine come and they're being waited on and they're like, holy shit, like I needed this. I needed to know what this feels like. This is what I mean about your wealth consciousness rising by tapping into opulence, tapping into someone else taking care of you, feeling the energetics and calibrating up to like, oh, this is what this feels like. To not be the fixer. Oh, this is what receiving feels like? Damn, sign me up for more of this. But the women who are very extreme in their feminine energetics, I'm just going to be real with you. Without the balance of a work ethic, you're going to take a long fucking time to build something. If you only work out of the energy of like everyone else should do your work, like you just lay back and receive, you're the creative, that you're just getting paid to create, work is beneath you, like you're going to have a hard time. Entitlement comes with the wounded feminine. It's a mess. Like I'm all for baths and orgasms, but like I didn't make 7 figures just having baths and orgasms and receiving energy. It's both. You've got to have both. So what I think is that the world of the 1%, people are very busy down here fighting about masculine and feminine, and that's why they're not at the 1%. They're just fighting over who's right and whose way works. And the masculine want to show that they're the ones, and the feminine, they're great receivers. So they keep on manifesting miracles and going, but my way works and I can manifest, and look, I manifested. And they're fighting over whose way is right. And then there's the 1% who's like, neither of you are right. It's a fucking circle. You do both and every time. The energetics of wealth are diligence breeds opulence, and opulence inspires diligence, and it's a circle. Can I say the really messy thing about feminine energetics? Can I just say it? A mess. Wonkety wonk wonk money energy. Can I say it? What I see as extreme wounded feminine energetics is the entitlement of people saying, I want it now, and I'm going to get it for myself now, and I'm going to use debt to do it, and that I'm not going to work it off. And I'm not going to do anything to create more opulence. I'm just going to keep on receiving more and more opulence and going further and further in debt and buying myself more experiences and buying myself more nice shoes and buying myself more Louboutins and red bottoms and experiences and places and people and things. And I'm just going to keep on going, 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 going. And there's not the masculine side because, we just work when we're in alignment. Diligence pays for this. If all you ever do is indulge in opulence and you will not be diligent, this is a fast recipe for bankruptcy and debt. But these ones are afraid of work. Work scares them. They never had someone to be like, you can do it. I'm here with you. I'll watch you. I'll show you what to do, like my dad out in the yard. You can do this. I know it seems like it's work cut out for a man, but you can do it. And I'm going to show you. Okay. And when you're done, you get more opulence. But the feminine energy camp over here, they've never had someone to walk them through and be like, you got this. I'm going to be here with you. You can do it. And so the feminine energy camp is fucking scared of hard work because it hurts them. And they don't know that they're made for it. Women are made to bear an amount of stretching that's like beyond the pain caliber. We have babies. And even if you've never had a baby, your womb is like a sleeping volcano. And you're also still made for this. Whether you ever have a baby or not, you're cut out for this. You are made to do challenging things. You're made for it. But the feminine energy camp is like, I don't know if I can sustain that. I can't do it. That looks hard. And they've never pushed the limits of finding out what they're made of. So the masculine side, they push the limits all day long, and that's all they ever do. And that's where they burn out. And the feminine is like, I'm just going to lean back and receive and tell people that I can't do this, because if I cry, people will do it for me. And if I complain and if I receive, someone will hand it to me. Which is fucked up, because if somebody hands it to you, they can also take it away. Which is why I prefer to be self-made. I want both and. Feminine, masculine, opulence, and diligence. Diligence creates opulence. Opulence fuels diligence. This is why I go to expensive places, because the opulence inspires me to work. The opulence makes me go, oh man, if it feels like this today, I want this every day. What will it take? And so many people who are in their wounded feminine, they go, I want the expensive car today. I'm going to buy it today. And they never go over here and go, but what does it take? If I were to do this more, what would that take? Let me put some diligence behind this. Need both. Want to talk about wealth accumulation? I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. But diligence and opulence run hand in hand, and they create a wealth loop. A wealth loop. Is it landing? All opulence equals bankruptcy. All diligence equals burnout. Diligence plus opulence equals wealth accumulation. Masculine and feminine energetics in the divine, not the wounded, create a ton of wealth. Can you see it? Both and work and reward, and a lot of it. Not reward in like a year, not reward like in a month. It's like pretty fast. We had these insane work weekends pretty much every weekend, and every weekend we had a party. It wasn't delayed gratification. Do you see it? A lot was asked of us, but we had fast reward. You get to rewire this for you. And no one can do this for you, but you just listening to this today is going to show you where maybe you're too far in one realm than the other. And for some of you, you probably have a reality check today of going like, yeah, I like treat myself a lot, and then I'm not very diligent. And for some of you, it's going to be like, okay, I think I could maybe learn how to be a little bit more work ethic. Cool. I got something to do. And for some of you, you are realizing for the first time that all you freaking do is be diligent and work. And you're wondering what it's all for because you're in your wounded masculine and you have some work to do in terms of opulence. Putting yourself into wealth conscious environments, allowing yourself things that you desire, tapping into pleasure, giving yourself nice things that you wake up and go like, oh, I want more of this. Like, I would work for more of this. I love this. Today, this right here might be the beginning of like the rest of your life. And it's a conversation that so many of my clients, when they're in places like Rev, Chill, and Iconic, they're like, oh my God, I needed this before I ever started a business. I needed to know this before I started a brand. This type of conversation on an even deeper level, learning the true energetics of emotions, it completely is the thing that saved my marriage. Because we had a rocky 8 years. Like our first 8 years was like a fucking roller coaster. It was so hard. But learning this has been key for me. And it's totally affected him, affected the way he parents, the way he loves, who we are, what he says yes to. We were in 2 different camps for a long time because I was like, I'm not here for this suffer until I die thing. And he was like, if you just delay gratification, we're going to be super wealthy. And I'm like, I will die on the way there. Like, you're going to kill me. I can't do this. And so like, I was the one that tapped into opulence. And through the energetics of emotions, he's like here for it. He has risen as I have risen. Yeah, Tammy, that makes sense. So here's what I have to say for today. Tomorrow, I want to talk about wealth accumulation. Today was just about wealth energetics. Wealth energetics meaning diligence breeds opulence. Opulence breeds diligence. You need both and. And I hope that just the same as last night when I was like, I want you to marinate on these questions overnight and marinate on this topic overnight, how you tapping into opulence might be a key for you and a code for you. Tonight, I would ask you before you come back tomorrow, because we have one more conversation tomorrow on wealth accumulation. I just want to invite you to look at like, wow, where did my coding even come from? Why am I like this? Why am I always striving and pushing? Or why do I think I can't do big things? Why do I start and quit? Why do I cry when I am not getting my way and let other people fix it? Or are you the fixer? And where does this come from? Because if you can become aware of it, you have a chance of fixing it. So this conversation is an invitation to become aware. Where are you right now and how did you get that way? Now, there are a few of you who are like, I want to go deeper into this conversation. And for those of you who are a yes, I do have another opulence offer for you that came up when I was on my trip. And there is a signature program in my world. I run it every year, sometimes twice a year. And there's a micro version of the program called Rev Chill that goes deep into the masculine and the feminine, both the wounded and the divine, and what those energetics mean and how to use them for your advantage. It's happening next week on Friday. It's a 2-part series. I'll be doing a deep dive training, and then I'll also be doing a live Q&A where it'll be on Zoom so we can interact together. So if this is a deep question of yours, like the masculine and the feminine energetics and where you sit and how to balance it out, that is going to be amazing for you. It's on Friday and it's in pre-sale for $333. And that's the 2-part series, the training and the live Q&A, beginning next week, Friday. There's also a 6-week deep dive onto this topic and goes even further into the energetics of emotions, levels of energy, how to reset your energy, how to permanently become someone at the energetic target that you want to be at. And it's this year, it's going to have a wealth component to it because I'm just so ready to have these deep conversations with women who are after multi 6 and 7 figures. There's a level of energy that you have to sustain to stay in business. I think after today, you can surmise that there's a lot of reasons that people quit, and it's wonky energetics. Their emotions are all over the place and they're making decisions from their inner 5-year-old. They're working off the coding of age 7, age 9, age 12, and trying to make 6 and 7 figure decisions off of 12-year-old coding and 12-year-old emotions. I'm wondering why they're crying and want to burn out. This signature program gets mentioned and referred all year round in many different women's circles. Anytime that people are like, who teaches masculine and feminine energetics? Who teaches on energetics? And people always mention my name. And it's the biggest compliment in the world to me. So my last 2 programs of the year are all about energetics. Rev Chill, which is on this upcoming Friday. And then shortly after begins Iconic, which is a 6-week program that rounds off the back end of the year. Now, the 2 of these can be bought in a bundle right now, or they can be bought separately. So Rev Chill is $333 on pre-sale. Iconic is $777 on pre-sale. Today, you can bundle them and save $100. So you're looking at, yeah, I think that's correct. I'll double check my pricing, but I think you save $100 when you bundle. But what's happening is overnight, the price is going up. So tomorrow, they're going to be $888 and $333, and the bundle price will also go up. So if what you deeply know that you need is to understand where you are in the energetic scale, whether you're in the masculine or the feminine, the divine or the wounded, and how to balance them out to create more wealth, these are the last programs of the year that would be available for you. They are in pre-sale. The price goes up overnight. But I have a thing to add. Those last 2 programs of the year are my gift to you when you join Locked and Loaded for 2023. So every year I walk with female entrepreneurs, coaches in the making, consultants in the making, and people who are creating online sales machines of the organic persuasion. And every year I take people through the exact sequence that I learned and what I've used to create multi 6 and 7 figures, including things like audience growth mode, copywriting, feminine energetics led sales, how to do masterclasses, Facebook groups, how to create reels. There's so many pieces to it, but it's like, okay, if you were going to learn how to make 6 figures in a year, here's the things that you need to know. And it's called Locked and Loaded. Right now, actually, yeah, if you were to join the 2022 version of this and get like the old vault and everything, it's like $15,000. But at the top of the year, we start over. So the first month of the year, January, we're going to start over with our sequence because I teach it in a sequence. Right now, you could get the entire sequence. So the whole year of 2023, there's not a vault in it yet because we're starting in January recreating the vault. So to buy every single micro course, program, masterclass, paid program experience for an entire year, today is $11,000 paid in full or $1,111 for monthly installments. And because you'll be starting in January with a fresh roster of Locked and Loaded, we want to give you something to tap into now. So for those of you who join Locked and Loaded, my all access pass for 2023, we're going to gift you Rev Chill and Iconic to tap into for Q4 and get you on the right path energetically to do Locked and Loaded next year. So that is our second Opulence offer. You can either do Rev Chill or Iconic in pre-sale. You can bundle them today and save $100. Or you can get both of them free when you join the 2023 roster of Locked and Loaded, the all access course pass. So ladies, that is your offer for today. I have a really good feeling about this. I'm excited to know who's going to be in Locked and Loaded in this upcoming year. It's already got usually about 15 people in it. And if this conversation appeals to you, we have more tomorrow. Day 1 was wealth consciousness and tapping in. Day 2 was wealth energetics, going beyond the argument of masculine and feminine and actually getting into wealth. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about wealth accumulation. If you have a friend that you know should be here, make sure and invite them to the group. And we'll also be drawing $1,111 for one person for sharing our graphic. So that's all still coming. Tomorrow, I'll see you here about 4 p.m. And I want to say thank you and congratulations to everyone who's already joined for 7-Figure Secrets, which we talked about yesterday. I'm so excited. A bunch of you are in. So excited about this. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on tomorrow at 4.